Hello and welcome to this episode of Would You Rather? I'm your host, davidinark, and today we answer some of life's most pressing questions like this one. Would you rather be the first person to walk on Mars via a one-way trip or never travel to space? Well, it's very, very easy to be the second choice because most of us are never going to travel to space. That's just the way it is. Um, if you look at the population of the world, more people have never traveled in a plane than people who have traveled in a plane. So space is even that much more unattainable for most people. So again, the likelihood that you would ever travel to space in the first place, frankly, not so great in your lifetime, unless you're like maybe. Well, no, I was going to say, unless maybe you're like 4 or something, but even then, think about the people who were 4 when airplanes first became a thing, and they still have never flown. It's just the way it is. So me personally, though, let's just say that it was within the realm of possibility that I could either never travel to space, or I could be the first person to walk on Mars via a one-way trip. I don't understand the obsession with going to freaking Mars. Why? Who gives a crap about Mars? We've been to the moon. There was nothing there. Why are we obsessed with going to Mars? There's nothing there. I don't understand this at all. I mean, you could go to the moon and at least practice living on Mars if that's what you really want to do. I don't see the point in going to Mars at all. So for me, I would just really rather never travel to space, because I don't give a crud about going to Mars, whether I'm the first person, the 80 billionth person, whatever. I just don't care. I don't understand the obsession with going to Mars. What up with that? No idea. So I would just rather never travel to space because I don't care that much. So there you go. Wow. 64% of folks would also rather just never go to space. I hear you, man. All right. Would you rather have Doge as a pet? Or have Grumpy Cat as a pet? All right, so we've got meme pets. Oh, all right. So, this is gonna get me in so much trouble. Look, I had a cat. All right, my family, we had a cat for many, many, many years. And she got old and she died, and I don't ever care to have another pet ever again. Just going to throw that out there. If, however, I had to pick one or the other, I mean, Grumpy Cat's cool and all. Doge, though, man, that's actually kind of funny. I would take Doge just because. Partly because Grumpy Cat is already everywhere. And so far as I've ever seen anyway, Doge is still just a meme. I mean, I don't know. Are there toys and calendars and everything else of Doge? I don't know. But anyway, I would take Doge. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one. I actually like that. I enjoyed that one. Okay. Would you rather vacation in the Pacific or vacation in the Caribbean? There's another way to say it, and I can't think of what it is right now. But anyway. I grew up calling it the Caribbean, I believe. I don't know. Billy Ocean says the Caribbean Queen. Just saying. But all right. I'll be honest. I would take either one of those. Neither one is bad, man. This is like you're picking the best of two awesomeness. You have like the worst of two evils or the lesser of two evils. This is whatever the opposite of that expression is. That's what this is. You can have the awesomeness of being at the Pacific, which I've been to the Pacific several years ago. My family and I took a road trip. We did the whole like Griswold thing and drove out to California and made it to the West Coast and played around on the beach for a little bit and dipped our toes in the Pacific. I've never been to the Caribbean, but how do you complain about either one of those as far as I'm concerned? I would probably pick the Caribbean because I've never been there, and I think it would be cool to go. So I'm just going to go with a short, sweet answer of vacation in the Caribbean. Caribbean Queen. Now we're sharing the same dream. Come on, sing along. You know the words. No? No, you don't. Okay. Ah, man. Would you rather have a stomach ache or a headache? I don't like either one. I think we may have answered this before. I don't remember now, but I would rather. Now, I don't know how bad these are. Are they like, is this a persistent thing? Like you would always have this? Or is this just between the two of these, which would you rather have? I don't know. Which one gets you the worst? Is it when you have an upset stomach, when you have a really bad stomach ache and you don't feel like moving and you don't want to get up and you don't want to eat, or a headache that it's just, pounding and grinding and you can't think about anything other than this ache that is just eating your brain away? I think between the two, I would much rather have a headache than a stomach ache because I like to eat. So there you go. It's a simple answer, really. All right. Would you rather only speak in haiku or only speak in song lyrics? Dude, I almost speak in song lyrics as it is. So I would rather just speak in song lyrics. I have music running through my head all the time. Right now, who can it be now? Why? I have no idea. Why is that song, tell me why? Do 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 do. Why? Human Nature, Michael Jackson. Anyway, I always have music, songs running through my head all the time. So to be my only means of communication, I think that would be awesome. If I were quick enough on my feet, I would attempt to do that just because I would pick a day and I would only speak in song lyrics. I think that would be hilarious, especially if I pick like weird, obscure songs that run through my head that a lot of folks may not realize I'm speaking in song lyrics. So I think that would be kind of cool. But definitely, I would rather only speak in song lyrics. That would be a lot of fun. I think that would be very, very cool. Man, that would be cool. All right. Would you rather live in an abandoned bomb shelter or live in an isolated tower? Okay, well, let's see. The sub thing is ground floor or high rise. I can't see. There's like text. There may be text down below giving more details, but there's when you play either or, there's kind of a title, if you will, for each of these, and this one says ground floor or high rise. I think I would rather. Okay, let's kind of weigh these a little bit. So the bomb shelter, part of that depends on how big the bomb shelter is. And part of that is, I'm assuming we're talking about like a full-blown house, even if it's a tiny house because of the space. What was that? There was a game where you and your family were in a bomb shelter and like you had to survive 7 days, or I don't know. I can't remember. Like you would send the people out to do certain tasks, and then they would come back, and you'd have to use whatever resources. What the heck was the name of that game? I don't know. Probably called 7 Days or some crazy thing. Can you survive 7 days or something? A week without food? I don't know. All right. And that was kind of neat where they had the bomb shelter. Of course, then you get into the whole like Fallout and Fallout Shelter and all that versus a tower, which that would be kind of cool. Almost in my head, I'm almost thinking kind of like a lighthouse situation. Maybe it could be just kind of a, I don't know, like a stone tower, like you see, like Rapunzel type thing. That could also be kind of cool. I think so. Basically, it amounts to: would you rather live kind of underground or above the ground? And I think I would rather live in an isolated tower because I'm assuming there are windows. So even, up at the top, you could look around, you could see everything. That would be cool. Not everything, obviously, but you could see a lot. You could see far. You'd see the whatever's there, the forest, or maybe there's rivers. Then again, maybe you're out in the desert, in which case, what difference would it make? Because all you'd see is sand everywhere. But I'm going to pick the isolated tower because I like the idea of being up high and just checking stuff out. So that's what I'm going with. I'm going with the tower. There you go. All right. Okay, would you rather master every programming language or master every spoken language? Oh, wow. Okay, this is a very cool question. Now, before I get into this, I want to say that there are certain schools now that actually offer various programming languages as a foreign language. You can actually take programming as your foreign language and substitute for Spanish or French or whatever other language your school may offer. You could take, whatever Python or whatever other language the school happens to offer as the foreign language. So, which I think is awesome. I think that is very forward thinking. It's very appropriate for today's day and age. So I think that's very cool. I've done various bits of programming over my life, way back with Pascal and Fortran and COBOL. Ugh, I hated those classes. I did a lot with Visual Basic and ASP.NET, and I've done a little bit of JavaScript, a little PHP. I don't know. I think it would be, for me, I think I would rather master every programming language, because in my head I'm thinking that if I could master every programming language, then ultimately I could create a program that would, and actually they pretty much they pretty much exist now anyway, but essentially you could come up with a program that would help you with the second, not necessarily master every spoken language, but you wouldn't have to, right? You'd have a program that somebody speaks, somebody speaks, and then you hear it in either your native language or which ideally, and again, that type of thing already exists. Was that is it Babel? Was that what that does? Like somebody speaks in French and you hear it in English? I think that's right. So anyway, I would rather master every programming language, not just for that reason, but I have ideas for games, and I'm definitely not a game coder, anything like that. I would love to. I don't have time right now, work and family and everything else. But it would be awesome to master every programming language and then be able to code some really, really cool games. So I'm going with that. Well, more power to all the people that would rather speak to everybody. I'd rather be holed up in a room with my keyboard, I guess. I don't know what that says about me. I don't know. I think it would be much more beneficial for me to be a master of programming languages rather than spoken language. So there you go. I can't even master English. All right. Would you rather own a pocket-sized giraffe or own a pocket-sized elephant? Oh my gosh. I can't imagine. I mean, pocket size. So I don't know how big we're talking, in terms of size, but just for the sake of argument, I got this little dude right here. And just imagine if this was either a giraffe or an elephant. I mean, how cool would that be to have a tiny little animal like that? Oh my gosh. I would take either one, tell you the truth. I know earlier I said I wasn't a pet person, but holy cow, a pocket-sized animal, that would be awesome. Between the two, I think I would rather have the giraffe, just because, like, if you put the giraffe in your pocket, and it's with its long neck, its head could, stick out, which I realize the trunk could stick out, but I don't know. I just think it'd be cool if you had this little giraffe head sticking out. Hey, what's happening? That's cool. I'm going with the giraffe. This is the craziest set of questions I've had in a long time. Okay, well, more people would rather have an elephant. That's cool. Like I said, I would take either one of those, man. Can we have an and? How about either and? How about that? All right. Would you rather live in Africa for a year or live in Antarctica for a year? It's hot. Like Africa hot. All right. Africa or Antarctica? Okay. I'm gonna say this based on my body's natural state of being, and that is that I am in the South. They have a saying: I'm very hot natured. And I don't know if that's a saying everywhere. I don't remember hearing it before I came to the South. But I'm very hot natured. That is, it takes very little for me to get just overheated and just hot and yucky. And just to give you an example, if I could, I would leave my house on about 65 every day of the year. Now, my wife, on the other hand, is very cold natured, so she's freezing all the time. If it gets, and I'm not kidding, if the temperature gets below about 85, she's got blankets on and is talking about how cold it is. That's exactly how it is. So she would much rather live in Africa, guaranteed. I would much rather live in Antarctica because I can always put more clothes on. You know, there's only so many clothes people can take off before it gets not good. It's not pretty. I'm going to go with Antarctica. Well, most people would want to live in Africa, and I get that. It's warm, but I'm, again, hot-natured. No, thanks. I'll take Antarctica. Antarctica. Yeah, I'll take the other place. I don't know, my mouth isn't working. All right. Would you rather always drive under the speeding limit or always drive over the speeding limit? Well, you can probably guess where I spend most of my existence anyhow. But which would I rather do? Look, I'm not even going to fake it. I'm not going to pretend. The truth is, I would always rather drive over the speed limit. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't say how far over the speed limit. So if the speed limit is 35 and I'm going 37, I'm going 37. If the speed limit's 25 and I'm going 26, you know what I'm saying? Whereas, I guess the opposite could be true if the speed limit was 55 and I'm going 54, but that's just not me. That is not in my nature at all. I am a over the speed limit kind of person. So there's my admission of guilt. I'm guilty of generally driving over the speed limit. Now, I'm not going like 100, in a 55 or anything crazy. I'm just, I prefer to push that limit a little. So there you go. I'm going to go with always drive over the limit. Wow. I am impressed that most folks have picked that they would rather always drive under the speed limit. Kudos to you. That's awesome. That really is. That's very impressive. All right, last one. I think we may have had this before, but would you rather only drink Starbucks coffee or only drink Dunkin' Donuts coffee? I don't drink any coffee whatsoever. That is not my thing. I know lots of people do, and that's great. More power to you. Enjoy all the coffee you want. I have no idea. For all I know, they taste exactly the same. Again, I don't drink it. I don't have a clue. I'm going to go based on principle alone. Starbucks, is Starbucks. So I'm going with Dunkin' Donuts because Dunkin' Donuts is awesome. All right, there you go. And most people would rather drink Starbucks. Well, more power to you. I'll tell you what. Whichever one is cheaper, because I'm not paying whatever it is now, $6.50 or whatever crazy amount of money is for a cup of coffee. It's not coffee either. Starbucks is not coffee. As I heard one comedian say, Starbucks is an adult milkshake. That's all that is. So anyway, I'm going with Dunkin' Donuts. Agree with me, disagree, leave your questions, problems, suggestions, horror stories down in the comment section below. And thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Would You Rather.